Kind of a response video to Matt and I guess Professor Anton. I don't know if I'll do his video or not too. So this is going to be more than one part and blah blah, same old routine. But this really needs to be discussed. I mean, this pantheism stuff it's a real problem.
Hey Corey, thanks a lot for your video and for all your videos, for bringing such a reasonable and reflective perspective to YouTube. Um, because, reason, whatever it is, it's not a given. It's not a fact about our human constitution.
Yeah, it sort of is, Matt. I mean, we're not made to be wacky. Animals are sort of made to model their real world, not a fantasy world. Obviously, natural selection never really tested the intelligence thing to its full potential until it got to us. And so obviously we have taken the dream world and the rest of it and we've made that our reality. And but we've broken the rules. But we've done it pretty well. I mean, it's been pretty overt. And you're committing the same crime here.
Something that each of us as individuals has to achieve. And certainly part of achieving a rational, reasonable understanding of the world is gaining a new perspective on these ancient pre-modern myths.
Why do we need a new perspective on them? I mean, beyond just calling them what they are, what you just labeled them myths. Can't we just leave it at that? Can't we just leave them to be myths and forget about them? I mean, why do we have to wallow in it? Why do we have to take the old mistakes and keep looking at the old mistakes, the wrong way to do it, the square wheel? We have to keep looking at the square wheel and somehow try to make it round? Come on, let it go.
That served an important role for earlier phases of humanity, but now no longer function adequately. We've outgrown them, so to speak. And
right, and so instead of going with the old kind of dumb fucktarded religions, you're just going to invent a new religion, a new pile of crap to set up on the hill, the new little shining city on a hill to go chase. New leprechaun gold. Yeah, so it's not a rainbow. It's follow the asphalt made out of recycled bottles road.
we're searching for new ways of accounting for, new ways of giving reasons for our own existence, how we came to be, and where we're supposed to go from here.
Yeah, because we had this innovation in science over the last 200 years. Found out a whole bunch of stuff, microbes, DNA, the whole mechanics of the living biosphere pretty much dissected and taken apart. We found all the little squigglies that cause the diseases and all the rest of that crap. And so we've been enlightened. We have achieved understanding, and we're still, but it's not leading. It's not pointing to any leprechaun gold. And so that's the problem for you people. You have to invent some sort of fable, some sort of myth that keeps putting some kind of thing to keep chasing.
But I think this tendency to try to explain human culture and human consciousness in terms merely of a Darwinian mechanism, variation under natural selection. I think this is misguided, and certainly Darwin...
Yeah, right. Misguided, and you're going to have absolutely no evidence of this misguidedness. No sign that points out how it's the wrong road. And then you're going to talk and speculate about what Darwin would say. We know what Darwin would say. If we gave DNA to Darwin, and we gave microbiology to Darwin, and we gave cosmology, telescopes, all the rest of the stuff to Darwin, he'd be come on, damn well he wouldn't be sitting there talking about unicorns. And so this is just a pile of crap.
was only trying to come up with a possible explanation for speciation, for the change in species over time. And more recently, Dawkins' idea of mimetic evolution has created this real upsurge of interest in evolutionary psychology, where there's an attempt to explain all human characteristics, all of our mental capacities, as merely the result of the increased survivability.
Yeah, well, isn't that is evolution, and you haven't found anything. You have nothing. You have no reasonable argument to present here that explains why evolution doesn't explain the psychology, why those blueprints that have been drawn up pointing to how this kind of psychology was conducive to survival and made us as organisms stronger. And I mean, we've sort of blueprinted our evolution, Matt. It's not that fucking magical, okay? Yeah, we did the little pointy stick thing, and we did the fire thing, and something clicked in our brains, and when we did the language thing, then we did the nuclear bomb thing. Alright, it's just not that complicated. Intelligence is just like all the rest of the tools. They're just like big teeth or sharp claws or some other weapon. They're a way of navigating the world, a way of controlling the environment and controlling what you get to put in your mouth and what comes out your ass. And it's not any more sophisticated for us than it is for the rest of the animals that have been shaped by that mechanism.
That they available, or that they provided. But I think mere survivability, if that's the only goal of life, of the evolutionary process, then why would we not have life? Why would it not have remained at the level of single-celled bacteria?
I mean, it's just a silly argument. You've made this argument before, and it's just silly. Why would it... The better question would be, how could it possibly stay the same? The whole mechanism is built on this idea of it having mutations, some mutations being beneficial over time, creating change. It can't escape the evolution. Evolution isn't some like gimmick. It's the structure, and so of course it creates more life on top of the life that exists. It just creates, with every new life form, there's a new environment to be exploited, a new place a new thing to eat, or to be eaten by.
3.8 billion years they've lived on this planet. But, in fact, we see something else in evolution, aside from
yeah, what we don't
mere
see...
survivability.
Well, sorry, what we don't see...
There is a tendency...
We don't see any talking trees. We haven't seen plants acquire a nervous system. Here they are, they're exploiting the solar energy, exploiting an environment. Why don't they evolve into something more complex? Well, the simple reason is because they can't. There's no incentive to, because they've created a almost perfectly efficient way of extracting their existence, defending their existence. And these other organisms that are feeding on this biosphere, though, are in a different circumstance. They're competing by a different set of rules. So simplicity isn't going to win. Something a little more sophisticated and complicated is going to win, because they need to be able to navigate a puzzle to win. They can't just do it simple. They can't just put their palms to the sun and extract their living. They have to extract it out of other things, and that means they have to be able to kill them.
Towards greater complexity. And with greater complexity comes a greater sense of interiority, greater sense of sentience and consciousness.
Well, you got no proof of that one either. Okay, with intelligence as a tool, that preoccupation might be taking away from our senses. It might be denying us a real conscious experience, the true colors. We might be missing them because our brain has devoted so many resources to creating these symbols and these words and this language to do all of this thinking. So all this thinking might be subtracting from our capacity to feel.
And, I do agree with you, Corey, that there is a sharp break with the emergence of the human being. And, we could even place this historically with
the human being? Well, when is that line? When's the emergence of the human being happen? When do you have the human brain capable of learning nuclear physics? Right? That's the definition. So somewhere we evolved from a monkey man that couldn't do language to a monkey man that could do language, and something physically happened. So something physically changed between those two organisms. One of them would have been able to go to school today and learn. One of them wouldn't have been able to go to school today and learn. All right, and so that's your distinction. But the distinction is still, it's just a tool. Intelligence is just a tool. All right, obviously 1,000 years ago we had more intelligence than the animals, and what did we do with that more intelligence? We basically slaughtered everything that we encountered.
Development of the alphabet, which allowed us to gain access to a sense of conceptual reality.
You know, well, again, why are you using this alphabet crap? Okay, the Chinese don't have an alphabet.